This time around, the quote comes from Billy Porter, actor and LGBTQ plus advocate, and just overall fabulous human being. Billy Porter said this, quote, "Financial freedom is about so much more than money. It's about security, autonomy, and the ability to live authentically on your own terms." Billy Porter said that in just wise words, because we talk a lot on the show about the dollars and cents of it all. We talk a lot on the show about, different types of ways that you can save, different types of accounts, IRAs, 401ks, annuities. We talk about all those different types of things, stocks and bonds, and all the things, right? The thing that we talk about, maybe a little bit less, but is just as important, if not more important, is sort of like the emotional side of it, the logical side of it, the feeling of security side of it as well. And just that ability that, if you are financially free, if you have financial freedom, if you have financial security, you can determine what happens in your life much more easily than if you don't. And so really that's my goal for each and every person who listens to this show, is to be in a situation where you are financially secure, especially for your retirement years, but even before that. I'm not one to say, oh, you've got to sacrifice all of these things and not have any fun and go, sell all your belongings to be able to save up for retirement. No, what I am saying, and what I do say all the time, is that you have to have your financial house in order. You got to know what's coming in, what's going out. And then you don't save, as Warren Buffett would say, you don't save or you don't save what's left after spending. You spend what's left after saving, right? In other words, just save first, pay yourself first, and future you will thank you for that. And that's one of the ways that you can achieve financial freedom. And we'll talk more about it as we go throughout the show here today. Great quote there from Billy Porter. And okay, so I teed this up at the top of the show. Now, have you had a smart inspection of your retirement plan? What do I mean when I say a smart inspection of your retirement plan? Well, a smart inspection would be one that really dives in and takes a look at all aspects of your finances, not just the checking account and the savings account and the 401k, and that's it. But anything else that you have or don't have. If there are missing pieces, a smart inspection can find missing pieces for you that will help you put the pieces together and fit those missing pieces in so that you can put a pretty puzzle together for your retirement, right? And make sure that you are set up for success in those retirement years, with what should be your golden years, right? A big fan of the Golden Girls. It's the golden years of your life. And so, if you hear me quote Dorothy Blanche Rose or Sophia today, don't be surprised. But so, have you had a smart inspection? And this is what I do for each and every listener who reaches out, right? I'll take and review all of your accounts. That's, if you have an IRA, you have a Roth IRA. If you do, that's, great work on your behalf, or on your part rather, already. And we can, hopefully improve on that and build up the balance in that Roth account. But if you've got a Roth, great. If you have an IRA, traditional IRA, if you have 401k, a brokerage account, if you have savings, even if you have, a TSP, if you're a federal employee. I know that there are a lot of federal employees these days who are either fearful about their jobs going away, and rightfully so, because of everything that's happening. I'm here in Atlanta, and the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are headquartered, of course, here in Atlanta. And there are a lot of people at the CDC who are being laid off this week. And it's a scary time for them. It's a scary time for a lot of folks. So if you have a TSP as a federal worker, I'd love to take a deep dive into that as well, see how it fits into your financial picture, and hopefully set you up for success no matter what happens. We also assess your account balances and the fee structures. A lot of people are really surprised at what they're paying as far as fees go. Do you know how much you're paying in fees right now? I bet if I could see you, if this was two-way TV or whatever, if this was a video chat, maybe I'll try and sound like I'm in the 21st century. If this were a video chat, I bet I would probably see, a bunch of hands going up saying, no, I don't know what I'm paying as far as fees go. Like if you don't know what fees you're paying, raise your hand, and a bunch of hands would go up. So yeah, we can take a look, see what you're paying as far as fees go, and see if we can find something that is better for you and your situation. Review your returns over the past, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. See what your portfolio of assets, if you have a portfolio of assets, if you don't have a portfolio of assets, we can get you started toward, more investments and all that kind of thing to get you in a better spot where you can have a successful retirement, right? We can give you a more successful retirement, hopefully, if you do also already have a plan or already at least have some investments, but maybe not a written formal plan. It's just kind of out there doing its thing. We can review those returns from the last few years and see what, a portfolio that we would recommend, see what it would have returned over that same time period, compare the two, and then, let you choose between those different scenarios. We'll determine if you've got an income gap or an income surplus. Hint, surplus is the one you want. We'll analyze any annuities, any pensions that you may have if you're lucky enough to have a pension through work, or personal pension option, which would be particular kinds of annuities can be characterized as a personal pension, or sometimes people will call them like a self-funded pension. And that is something that you can set up. And we can set up for you. Wouldn't want to go it alone on that, but I would love to be able to set up one of those for you so that you can have peace of mind. Not only does it give you, principal protection, but it also can turn into an income stream when you get to retirement, and that's income that you can never outlive. That's why we refer to it as a personal pension, right? Because if you turn on that income stream, that income's not going to go away until you do. And even sometimes, depending on how the contract is structured, those payments could continue on to a loved one after that. So it just kind of depends. A lot of different options out there. So we'll also analyze, all of those different things. We'll evaluate your tax exposure. We'll explore Roth conversions. Roths are a type of account. They're Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, and that kind of thing. And the money that you put into a Roth, you've already paid the taxes on. So when it goes into the Roth, the taxes have already been paid, so it grows tax-free. And then the withdrawals in retirement are tax-free as well from a Roth. So you've already paid taxes on that money. You don't have to pay taxes on it ever again, even on the growth that's in that account. So that's a great thing to explore for a lot of people, especially if you, like a lot of economists, believe that eventually taxes are going to have to go up because of the national debt. Also, we'll provide a customized Social Security maximization report, including those considerations that we always take into account for LGBTQ plus couples or individuals. And, if you're a couple, whether you're married or not, we'll take that into account and really, see what might be best for you and most advantageous for you. So this is the reason that I do the show, folks. I'm just so passionate about helping the LGBTQ plus community, my community, retire with confidence. I want you to be able to retire with confidence and with pride. So what I want you to do is reach out. You can email me, matt@takeprideinretirement.com. You can just go to the website as well, takeprideinretirement.com, schedule that free consultation. You can give me a call as well, 855-246-9211, 855-246-9211 is that number. All right, I'd be glad to help you out with any financial issues or questions that you may have, especially when it comes to, where you are in your life as far as planning for retirement goes. Love to help you make a better situation, maybe make some better choices there. So another thing too that I want to consider about retirement, and there are a couple of different considerations that you need to take into, consideration. when it comes to where you live, right? Where you live matters, where you retire matters, right? This is that other thing that I was talking about is where you live. But LGBTQ plus retirees often face different considerations when it comes to location. Things like inclusiveness, healthcare costs, state level protections, more considerations as well. Cost is one thing, all of that's another, right? So let's talk about the cost. I guess kind of unfortunately for us in the LGBTQ plus community, in a way, the most expensive states tend to be the most inclusive, tend to be anyway. So after Social Security, so this is how all this is calculated here. After Social Security, a study found that if you live in Hawaii, it's the most expensive state to live in retirement, according to this study, $87,770 a year cost of living after Social Security. So that's, you take your Social Security. So beyond that, on average, more than $87,000 a year to live in Hawaii in retirement. Numbers also show that after Social Security, Massachusetts, over $65,000 a year, California, $63,000, New York, almost $51,000, Alaska, same thing, $51,000 there, just shy of it, actually. And so, yeah, not really all that surprising because there are a lot of wonderful things in all of those states. Actually, just went this past fall to Massachusetts for the very first time, for example. So beautiful. Boston, such a cool city. And I had never been there before, believe it or not, even though I lived in the Northeast. I'm in Atlanta now, but I lived in the Northeast for like 10 years and just never went to, I lived in New York. So I never went to Boston before now, or before, like 6 months ago. But it was very cool. It was a very cool trip. So anyway, the most expensive states tend to be the more accepting of LGBTQ plus folks. Now, the least expensive states to live in retirement, the least expensive is West Virginia, $27,000 and change per year after Social Security. So much more affordable than, say, Hawaii at $87,000, right? But then you got to look at state level protections. You got to look at levels of acceptance in the society there and all of that as LGBTQ plus folks. So those are considerations that we've got to take into account. All under $30,000 annually are the rest of the states on this least expensive list: Kansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Missouri, all under $30,000 a year. And it's a difference of over $59,000 a year between the most and least expensive states. So a big difference there. The question is, would you feel comfortable living in one of those places? And that's another consideration that you have to take into account. Okay, so, mention Social Security there when talking about kind of where you might want to live in retirement. And I talk about it in the context of, okay, Social Security will cover X amount of dollars on average, but beyond Social Security, beyond that paycheck, those different states we just talked about, here's how much it costs to live after Social Security has kicked in and covers a portion, right? So that is, and you see that even in the least expensive states, Social Security, not even close to enough to live on, right? It's just not. Especially this day and age where, yeah, of course, you have a cost of living adjustment on an annual basis in retirement when you're on Social Security via the Social Security Administration. You've got that annual cost of living adjustment. So it's supposed to keep up with inflation. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't keep up with the real inflationary pressures that we see and feel. But at least there is that adjustment. You do get a raise when there is inflation in the economy and when costs do go up. So, you've got that, but it's still not enough to cover all of your costs in retirement. It's just not. Unless you want to be, I guess to quote an old SNL character from the late, great Chris Farley, unless you want to be living in a van down by the river, then you are not, and I don't think anyone will aspire to that, really. At least that's my assumption. If you do, that's you. I know I wouldn't want to live in a van down by the river, so you would need more than Social Security to be able to make it. And as I said in the beginning, you want Social Security to be a cherry on top, or the gravy, or the whatever, that extra money that you have, just something that makes life a little bit sweeter, a little bit tastier. Yeah. Not the thing that you rely on. So you got to have a backup plan for Social Security. That's what I'm getting at here. And LGBTQ plus retirees face unique challenges a lot of the time when it comes to things like spousal or survivor benefits, especially if a marriage is not legally recognized or wasn't legally recognized until recently, or if you are not married to your partner. Like if you are just, partners, but you're not married partners, perhaps you've had a commitment ceremony or something like that. Or you haven't had any sort of ceremony, but you've been together for years and all those things, but it's still not a legally recognized marriage. Then you've got to, have different, things that you take to mind when you consider all of the different options that you have for Social Security. And Social Security, for all of its good and bad things, it's not a one size fits all thing either. I mean, there's some different ways that you can maximize your Social Security benefit, and I'll talk about those momentarily. But, it's a major source of income, Social Security, for about 60% of current retirees, a major source of income. But according to the Social Security Administration, the trust funds are expected to run out by 2035. Folks, that's 10 years. 10 years from now, 2035, the trust funds of Social Security expected to run out. Inflation is eroding benefits faster than those cost of living adjustments I mentioned can keep up. And cuts of up to 17% could be coming without some type of reform in the way that Social Security is funded and the way that the benefits are paid out and all of that. So a couple of things that you can do. Number one is get an analysis of your Social Security situation. Get a Social Security maximization report. And that's tailored to your specific relationship status, your work history, all of those things, your earnings over the years. That is, a great place to start. Just see where you are right now and see what things are looking like for your retirement, how much income you can count on as of now, projected out into the future. And then establish your own personal pension to close the income gaps. Like and you can get your own personal pension that has preferred tax treatment, like just like a 401k or just like an IRA or even a Roth. It can be treated as such. So it wouldn't create a taxable event to move money over from one type of account to fund another. And so there are three steps here that you really need to keep in mind to maximize your Social Security benefits. Number one is you work at least 35 years. You want to have income for at least 35 years. You don't want to have any zeros in there. And that's so important because what the Social Security Administration does is when it determines the income that you'll receive in retirement to start out with, when you first start claiming Social Security benefits, is they take your highest 35 earning years, the highest 35 earning years, and they take those into consideration when determining how much you'll get in Social Security. So you need to work at least 35 years and not have any zeros in there, because those zeros, of course, not doing you any good when it comes to your calculation for your income in retirement. You need to earn income at or above the wage cap. And so, if you earn up to a certain amount, you can, see an increase in your Social Security benefit, right? But if you go above and beyond that, it doesn't go any higher, but you need to at least get to that wage cap so that you can max out your Social Security benefit in retirement. If possible, and this isn't possible for everybody, again, I'm not giving advice here on a broad basis to each and every person saying, this is what you need to do right now. No, if you can, delay filing Social Security until age 70. Why is that? Well, for each year that you don't take Social Security beyond your full retirement age, and the full retirement age right now is either 66 and some months, or 67. So somewhere between 66 and 67, people retiring these days, that's your full retirement age for Social Security benefits concerns. And so that's what you need to keep in mind. And then for every year beyond that, up until age 70, if you delay, you get an 8% raise essentially each year. So if you're able to delay, you can max out that monthly check by waiting until age 70. No need to wait beyond age 70 because it doesn't go up any more beyond that. So wait until age 70 if you can, and if it makes sense for you. That's another reason, because that there's so many aspects of this that need to be taken into account, as I'm saying here. That's another reason why you need to have a smart inspection of your situation and that Social Security maximization report to show you when is the best time to take Social Security. And so a comprehensive plan matters. And it really does. I talked about that wage cap a second ago. A lot of LGBTQ plus seniors will never hit those income thresholds because of past wage inequality in the community as well. So, a lot of LGBTQ plus people are just kind of, unfortunately, behind monetarily speaking because of that wage inequality in the past. So it's like, just trying to catch up to where everybody else is a lot of times. And I can help you create a personal pension that you cannot outlive no matter your Social Security income. Just go takeprideInRetirement.com. That's the website. You can reach out there for the initial consultation, which, by the way, again, is free of any cost or obligation.